Welcome. There's Primo. That's right. He's making his rounds. What are you going to harvest, Primo, huh? Welcome to paradise. Alrighty. Episode 12. Update. Oh, hold on a second. Right in here. Oh, that's better. Alright. Welcome back, everybody. Today is Friday, December 17th, and we're going to go ahead and give you our update. Actually, I take it back, it's Thursday, December 17th. I'm doing this a day early because I have some company coming over tomorrow. I had company yesterday, so I'm busy cooking in the wood-fired oven. I'll attach some video at the end on maybe episode 13. But anyway, so in just a minute, we'll go ahead and take a look at how everything's doing inside the greenhouse. And we'll also go outside. The weather is 57, close to 60 right now. It's about 9 a.m. So I'll take you out there, show you what I've been doing. In the meantime, while I'm going out there, I'm going to let you take a look at what I've been doing throughout the week. That'll include some pricking out. And I started growing some marigold from seeds that I harvested from my plants. So let's take a look at that, and we'll go ahead and get working on showing you what everything looks like. I also today I need to start a batch of organic compost tea, which is what started this journey. I'm going to every 4 weeks do that inside. I've been using some of the fish fertilizer. I didn't do it in a week, so I've been really busy with the shed. I'll attach some footage of what I've done to the shed between prepping it, painting it. I've actually removed the ramp. I was going to do a step. I don't need it, so now it's working on the skirting. And I've got to get a border. And I'm going to fill it in with some gravel after I put down some weed block. All right, let's take a look at what I've been doing throughout the week. And then we'll head outside and look at how everything's growing along, and then finish up in here. All right, I'm gonna have a little tea. I'm having this is a ginger turmeric tea. All right, I got a tray filled up. I'm gonna go water these, and these are going to be used for the seedlings that I prick out. So we're getting ready to prick out some of my seedlings, the beets and the fennel. All right, let's go water these in. Grab a little snack where I was in the greenhouse. Radish. All right, so this is essentially tap water that's been sitting in my 30-gallon reservoir for a couple of days now. Now, because this has the peat moss, it takes a little bit to actually absorb. How good is that? Nice. Bit of a kick. I just got back from harvesting a basil plant. It's looking kind of sad, but I have growth here. I'm going to try and put that right into the tower garden. So I'm going to cut this open. I want to see if I can moisten this a little bit first. And what we're going to do, we'll go a little bit more. So I'm just finding that center, and I'm going to stick it in right about there. And now I'm going to use one of these clips Again, just to, let me see if I can, there we go. Okay, we'll plant that out in the tower in just a minute. And while I was out there, I grabbed another basil plant. Again, not doing well, probably because of the weather. And I pulled it out. This was in a 2-inch soil block, so there's a lot of that soil block and roots. And the remainder is the 3-part growing media. So in an effort to salvage some of these basil plants, all right, in just a minute we'll go ahead and prick this out. Let me go ahead and plant this in the tower garden. I'm going to start with 6 of the beets and 6 of the fennel. The fennel's right here, so we'll go ahead and review once again how we're going to prick these out. So what I like to do, I don't want to disturb too much, but I'm going to come in here and, whoops, that's a little bit more than I wanted to, but I like to just loosen that soil up just a bit. And there we go. I want to make sure that I get all of that root. Okay, now we're going to get it down in the bottom, and what I like to do is hang on to that stem just a little bit and pack it around it. I'm going to come back and I'll go ahead and hit it with a little bit of either water or the growing solution. I might use the growing solution at this stage. Now sometimes they don't want to go in, so I'll just take the tip of this dibbler and I'll help to work it down in there, because I want to get quite a bit of that buried. All right, let's get another one here. All right, nice root. So this is the fennel, one of our favorites. When I'm cooking, I almost always would rather use fennel instead of celery. That's just a preference of mine. So I like to grow a lot of this if possible. As a matter of fact, right now, as I'm doing this, in my pressure cooker I have some spaghetti or pasta sauce cooking away. The house smells amazing. I'm going to go in and remove that. So kind of multitasking. That's why I like a pressure cooker. Does a really nice job of breaking down the veggies and almost giving it that all day simmered effect in about 30 to 40 minutes. Let me get one more here. I can see I have quite a few other seeds there. Oh, I broke some of the root. We'll see if this one survives. I wasn't careful enough there. We'll see. We're going to have plenty. All right. I'll give this another little watering in just a minute. Let me go ahead and grab my beets. You can see how well they're doing. Again, this is a small container. This is inexpensive to do. A little bit of growing media, some seeds. You prick them out. I have 18. I've got 24 beets so far right here. There's the cilantro. Today's Saturday. All right, I just showed you all that yesterday in Friday's video. Check it out. All right, let me go ahead and prick out these beets and we'll come back in just a minute. All right, I've got 6 beets, 6 of the fennels. I'm going to go ahead and carefully water these in. I don't want to overdo it. Just enough. I find that this helps compact this growing medium around the root. All right, now I've already filled out my labels, and each tray that has the 6 cells will get a label, and these are all going to go in the same beds. Oh, I wanted to water. Now I am using some of my growing solution that I use in the tower. I find that'll really help these seedlings come on strong. A little bit more here. So that is the pricking method once again. I know we've gone over this. Once again, the growing media is, I'm going to be careful here, is the peat moss, the perlite, and the vermiculite. And I think why this is working out really well for these young seedlings is it's a very pure growing media. So that seems to be, in my opinion, at this stage, what the difference is. So that's this. I'll continue doing this throughout the week as I get a little bit more seedlings popping up. I just keep pricking them out. We'll start to enjoy our microgreens pretty soon here. So that's it for today. One of my chores. I did get my shed painted. So at the end of the video, I'll show you what it looked like. As I talked about the other day, the base of it's darker, but we went with a lighter trim, and actually I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Now I've got to replace the skirting, paint that. I'm going to turn the ramp into a step, a wide step, and from there I'm going to put some weed block, just enough to get past the fascia of the roof, so that when the water drips, I'll put down my weed block, I'll make a border, and I'll put some gravel around there. So that's what I've got going on. I'm going to get back inside, grab some lunch, and we'll see in a couple days. I don't know what I'll do next as far as growing techniques, but ultimately we'll come back the end of the week and give you an update on how everything's growing on. By the way, later on today, I'm making a dish with some broccoli rabe, so I'll come back out here later and harvest some of those leaves. So we'll see you in a few days. Leave me alone. I'm busy farming. Good morning. Sunday morning, 8:40 a.m. I wanted to come out here because this sucker is getting way too big, so I needed to get this transplanted. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to trim these leaves off. In fact, let me get in here a little closer. All right. Cut these out. All right. Just a little bit of an angle. All right. Now what I have here is a little root hormone. All right. I like to give it a good coating. This is that chocolate cherry tomato, by the way. Okay, we've got that. Our dibbler. This is the tray that has some capacity yet. See if I can put that right there. And I'm going to stick it over in this side right here, because I got two other cherry tomatoes right there. Now, I'm going to try and open this up almost down to the bottom. Not all the way, but very close. Get that down in there. And I want to make sure that I push that soil nice and tight around the stem. All right, from there. Now I need to change out the growing solution in here. It's getting really low. And I'm just going to take a little bit and just water that in. Let me make sure you can see that. And again, I like to do this. It helps get that soil nice and tight around the root. Now remember, this is the 3-part growing media, which is, again, peat moss, perlite, and vermiculite. Here's the other suckers. And let me see if I can bring this in a little closer for you. All right. You see the nice roots coming out here, here, here. So that tells me that these plants are rooting. And again, it's all about some free tomatoes. All right, look, flowers. That wasn't like that yesterday. I'll have to hand pollinate those. All right, that's how you get a free tomato plant from a sucker. All right, we'll see you in a couple of days on our update. It's so good. That rosemary. Oh, I put some of this on a pizza yesterday. Oh, it's so good. Now, I mentioned a few minutes ago about starting some marigolds from seeds. Well, for kicks the other day, I pulled one of these off, these pods. Get that to focus. And I planted some of those seeds. And we'll take a look at that in just a minute. Now, I have been broadcast spreading these seeds in my food forest over there. My hope is that I'll get some that will take and flower up, and that'll add some beauty to my food forest. And there's someone I recently came across on YouTube. I think her name is Bree Author. She has a book out on foodscaping that caught my eye, so that's one of her techniques. I thought that's pretty clever. Let's come over here to the raised garden bed in front of the greenhouse. But what I wanted to talk about right here, so we got beautiful fennel. These are those Bangor carrots I got from, I forget the seed company name, maybe High Mowing out of, I think it's Vermont. There's some of the broccoli rabe, getting a little bit of pest damage, but still have some beautiful leaves here. We've been harvesting these. I love them when they're small like this. I blanch them, and I actually put a whole bunch in the vegetable lasagna I made the other day. Here's the backside of the tomato trellis. Still have lots of marigolds. That's the San Marzano. I've got to trim out a lot of those leaves. Here are the Roma tomatoes, and I actually have fruit on them. Right in here, you could actually see more flowers here and over here. I do have some fruit. Here's my black Suriname cherry. I have lots of fruit on it right here. Here's another one. I mean, they're all over, and then we have obviously all of these here that were flowers. The bees were all over it. It looks like I've got a little bit of damage from the cold weather we had last week, but we do have some new growth coming on, so I'll trim this back at some point. Mulberries, my radishes. Boy, yesterday I pulled out probably one of the largest radishes I've ever harvested, and I think I see another one right now. Let me see if I can grab it. Some of them get a little bit woody. Here it is. So there we go. Not the prettiest radish, but they're really delicious. Now, there's my banana. I have another pup growing out of it. We just walked by some citrus. I've been harvesting some of my lemons, but there's another pup coming up. There's my key lime. And here's, so we won't spend too much time out here, but I do want to show you right here in this front bed. Here we go. Look at how nice this fennel's coming along. Won't be long before that makes it into my soups and sauces and other dishes. And over here, I believe these are cauliflowers. So they're doing well. I have some kale back there. Let's take a look at the food forest. Real quick, I did want to talk about the food forest and what I have going on here. So again, this is that yucca plant. I've got to weed out this front section right here. I started to pull weeds out in the back, and recycling some cardboard I have. Any large cardboard I don't send off in our recycling. I keep it and I put it down here, and over the weekend I'll pick up oh, probably 10 yards of tree mulch over at Gerald's. He's probably got 40 to 60 yards sitting at his house right now. And I'll start to put down a fresh covering of anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. But I did want to talk about while I'm here, my carambola. I don't know if they're going to survive the colder weather we're getting into, but this thing is loaded up with fruit. I mean, I've never seen so much, and I still have new flowering starting. About a week ago, right before the cold, this thing was loaded with bees. If you recall, I talked about that. If you're watching, you've seen it. Greek oregano, if you recall, that's the one I transplanted from in the back of the food forest, and it was intertwined with a marigold that I started from seed. That's a yellow one. I haven't harvested any of those seeds yet, but I've been harvesting as many of those seed pods as possible, and we're going to grow a lot of those for next year. Now, avocado. This is my smaller of the two. I'm starting to see some buds. I mean, this thing's loaded up with buds, so we'll see how well it does. It's going to depend on the weather we have. There is my sweet almond, one of my favorites. When you're sitting out here on a windy day, the aroma is incredible. All right, let's go ahead and head inside the greenhouse. It's a little chilly out here, so I want to get where it's a little bit more like paradise. Let's start off at what I'll call the rear tower. This is the one that has that chocolate cherry tomato. I mean, look at the size of that. Now, remember just the other day, I think the video that came out Monday, it was right about the top of the tower. It already is over it. Lots of flowers. There's the broccoli rabe that I put in there. I do have some more tomato plants that'll be going in there. Let's head over here. And the mulberries. Look at again, we talked about the power of the tower. Let me get down here and you can get a perspective. There's the same, these were 2 seedlings I got from a neighbor of chocolate cherry tomatoes. Look at the size difference. I mean, it's probably twice as large in the tower right now. All right, there's more mulberry. Those are the black Suriname cherry. Oh boy, those are so good. All right, there's a look at the fennel inside. Roma tomatoes. All right, so we'll go real quick here. All right, let's head over to the next bed. All right, let me get down here so you can get a better perspective of that broccoli rabe. Remember, that was all direct sown or sowed. Okay, and then I pricked out the smaller ones and put them in between the carrots. Those are the radishes, and then I have more broccoli rabe over there. Now, Roma tomatoes. Okay, this is my smaller one. We have fruit. Let's head over to this biggest one I have. Look at the cluster of fruit right here. I've got more. Where is it? Right there. So things are thriving in here. Oh, hey, Primo. Just had me pick them up on the chair. We'll get over to that in just a minute. I did want to show you my winter squash. So one of them here doesn't look like it was pollinated well, so it's dying back. But this one, I mean, to give you a perspective, all right, getting some good size. I have another one back there, whoops, right over there, and I've got some new growth right there. So I've got to feed these plants. Real quick, we'll spend a minute here only because we started the week off, excuse me, in pricking out the beets. To show you how cheap these are, I mean, that's already starting to crack, but it'll still, I'll get more use out of it. I think I've got one left. So these are the more recent beets that were pricked out. There's the first batch, so these would be the ones that germinated and sprouted up first. They're doing really well. There's the cilantro microgreen to go on our salads. We haven't actually used any yet. I've got to prick out a few more of the fennel. There is the basil that I brought in just the other day. I haven't taken the time yet to remove the bad leaves. Oh wow, is that fragrant. And there's the fennel that I've been pricking out all week. So what do you think of the results so far? I'm very satisfied with everything I'm seeing. Tomato suckers. I used to have a cloning station. I don't think I'm going to even use that anymore. These suckers with a little bit of that root hormone in this 3-part mixture, I mean, it looks like I'm getting 100% survival rate. Roots are doing great. So I'm going to continue doing that, especially the Roma tomatoes. Those are my favorites. So the beauty of this is whatever I've got inside the greenhouse, these tomato plants, I could cut the suckers, root them, and I've got a head start on my spring planting. It didn't cost me a dime. I'm starting to harvest some of my seedlings, especially from the marigolds. I have some here. I'm really excited about that. They're so pretty and they're very beneficial. So we'll continue to do that. All right. Primo and I again want to say thank you for watching. For entertainment purposes, I'm going to include some footage of me prepping, painting the shed, removing the ramp. If you feel like watching, go ahead. It's non-stop around my homestead here, just constantly improving and learning. It's a wonderful journey. And as they say, gardening is a joy forever. And it's just been a great find for me after surviving cancer. Growing up, we always had a huge raised garden. And I don't know, I guess I'm going back to where I once came from as a, under 10-year-old, experiencing what my parents did. My mom to this day, she'll be 90, and she's still very active with her gardening, whether it's indoors, outdoors, in her greenhouse. So I hope you guys are getting inspired. Look, I'm a regular guy, folks. I'm learning as I go, and each year I get better. There's a lot of people out there just giving away knowledge for free. You might have to watch a commercial or two on some of the larger YouTube channels. But, buy some books, support some of these authors. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week back at the greenhouse. And remember, leave me alone. I'm busy farming. Right, Primo? All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week. All right, Primo. You ready to get to work? All right. Yeah, who's a handsome boy, huh? All right. You're going to grow up and be a beautiful, ripe tomato that I can cook with, right? Oh, look at this. What? You don't hand pollinate? You're not talking to your tomato plants? You got to show them some love. This way they'll reward you with some fruit. All right, leave me alone. I'm busy hand pollinating. Look at this. There you go. Little, I don't know, $5 or $7 battery operated toothbrush. All right, you don't need to spend $30 on the fancy tools they sell to pollinate your tomatoes or other plants. This worked perfect. All right, Primo. We're all done, right? We got 2 coats of color on the trim. Now we'll have a little snack, ice cold beer. Tomorrow we'll get the rest of the shed painted. All right, what do you got? Go get it. Go get it. It's over there. All right, that's it. Let's clean up. What do you got there, huh? What do you got? guess at least 10 years. We're disassembling the ramp. And while we're at it, I'll just point out, when I built the shed, the floor joist system consists of the 2x6 galvanized metal. It's held up well, a little surface rust here. That's where the plywood was in direct contact, but otherwise everything else looks good. Was my father's. That's got to be 65, 70 years old. Change of plan here. I don't think I'm going to put a step in here. We'll fill this gap in here.